The next, we're looking at a 19-week-old. And this mum has said that this little one has suddenly hit the regression age. We were sleeping through. I used to pop a dummy in and settle, and now we're seeing every hour of the night. Is it bad to be settling him by breastfeeding every hour of the night to get him back down? Please help. Okay. So firstly, when we talk about sleep regressions, it's roughly kind of around that 4-month mark, isn't it? I know you're a little bit beyond that now, but it sounds like that kind of 4 to 5 months, sleep regression time. So just to explain to you a little bit about what happens then, when babies are really tiny, so when we're talking about, for example, the 5-week-old, babies go from deep sleep to REM sleep, deep sleep to REM sleep, and that's just what they do. And they spend about 50% of their time in both. So the deep sleep is where they're kind of growing and doing all that kind of cell repair and all that lovely stuff. And the REM sleep, rapid eye movement sleep, is when they are converting their short-term memory to long-term memory, and lots of brain development going on. And young babies are doing heaps of brain development, aren't they? Everything they're seeing is new, etc. So that's what we expect to see. And then around about 4 months, their sleep cycle changes hugely. Okay, very, it's just such a big change. It suddenly goes into what we have as a sleep cycle. So they will go through light sleep, into stages of deep sleep, and then REM sleep, and then light sleep. And the light sleep feels really unfamiliar to your babies. They are used to going from deep sleep to REM sleep. And that light sleep for you and I would be when we're gradually falling asleep, and maybe your mind drifts off somewhere else. And maybe if you've got some worries, that might be where that comes in, and it stops you from falling asleep and things like that. So with a baby of this age, it's really great to start, like we talked about the baby at 12 weeks earlier, to start watching when your baby is going to need sleep throughout the day and for falling asleep at night as well, and adding in those additional cues. You ask here, is it bad to be settling your baby by breastfeeding every hour of the night to get them back down? Absolutely not bad at all. But it can be really helpful to add in some additional cues. So we've already talked about shushing and patting with this other little one, a transitional object, just other things that your baby can rely on to fall asleep. And not just that, it's also whether you can just breastfeed them off to sleep, but catching them a little bit earlier on before they're really tired. Because what we want babies to start learning to do is to be going through that light sleep cycle as they fall asleep, that kind of drifting off to sleep. If we wait till babies are really overtired, what happens is they fall quite quickly into the deep sleep, and they miss that stage of gradually falling asleep. So then when they go through the sleep cycles overnight, none of us sleep through the night. As they go through the light sleep cycle throughout the night, it feels really unfamiliar to their bodies, and that's where you're seeing this repeated waking up, okay? So one of the best things you can do is start monitoring what's going on during the day, getting naps well-timed in the day. And when I say well-timed, for 19 weeks old, I would not expect to see any particular routine taking place, but just monitoring your baby's state and getting them to nap at times that work well for them. And like I said, kind of getting them to fall asleep before they're absolutely pooped, okay? And I'm going to talk to you towards the end a little bit more about dysregulation and how you guys can kind of keep an eye on that. It is not bad to be settling by breastfeeding. I would definitely be breastfeeding a baby. I would expect them to breastfeed regularly throughout the night. However, I recognise that hourly is going to be exhausting for you as a mum. So by adding in additional sleep cues, firstly, you're going to hopefully see that they've got other ways of falling asleep. So if, the hourly feeds are just too much, it might be that someone can help you by settling the baby in other ways throughout the night. But also, I would definitely say with a baby this age, monitoring what's going on in the day can make the biggest difference, okay? Because the overtiredness can really lead into this, because as they fall asleep each time, they're just missing that light sleep cycle, and then it feels unfamiliar to their body, and that's why they're waking. It is normal as well to see this happening, okay? Really normal. As a parent, it's like, oh my God, this is awful. As a practitioner, when someone writes this, I think, oh, great, this baby's doing exactly what we'd expect them to be doing. I know this baby is progressing how they should. So hopefully it's reassuring to you. The other thing I would say as well is that just do whatever works, okay, at this stage. So yes, there are things you can proactively be doing, like I've discussed, but if it means that you co-sleep during this time to get your sleep or what have you, it doesn't mean you're going to be doing that forever. It is a case of doing what you need to do now to get you through at this time, okay?